What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. And let's break down. Let's talk about my impressions of Black Widow. I saw this yesterday. I saw it in the theater. Took my son to go see it. You know, we love movie night and stuff. So we went to go check this movie out. Didn't know what to expect because, you know, this movie has been pushed back since like 1985. You know what I mean? So I didn't know how dated it was going to look, you know, whether it was going to be all raw, whatever. And honestly, we all know by now, those of us who have been following the MCU, that this movie should have come out a long time ago. As it is, I think that it's set like after the events of Civil War. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's probably when it actually should have come out. You know, it's a disrespect to Scarlett Johansson and the character of Black Widow that has taken so long to do this movie. It certainly should have come out before Captain Marvel. And let me just say, this movie is not in any way, shape, or form as bad or worse than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, congratulations. You still hold the title of worst MCU movie as far as I'm concerned, all right? So, getting into this flick right here, I already see there's a lot being said about how messed up it was and all this stuff, but I must confess, I went in almost two steps above a normie when it comes to the lore of in the story of Natasha Romanoff, you know, Black Widow. So I don't know what's supposed to be what, who's supposed to be who. You're not going to see me you know, taking offense to the gender bending of Taskmaster. I believe that's what happened, right? Because I'm not too familiar with that. And there's a reason why I'm not too familiar with that, because Taskmaster, as I understand, is not a premier villain. You know, it's not like showing us a female Joker, you know what I mean? Or a female Lex Luthor or something like that, you know? So I wasn't offended by stuff like that. The only thing I asked for is to be entertained, and for the most part, I was. I can say also I was surprisingly intrigued as well. The beginning of this movie pretty much gave you the game. You know what I mean? It gave you the game of what's going on out here in the world. You know what I mean? Like, they showed you all types of incriminating shit. They even put the Clintons out there. You know what I mean? Like, you had to pay attention to the little clips that they were playing in the very beginning. You had your MK Ultra mind control. You had your trauma-based mind control. You had your sex trafficking, child trafficking. I mean, they showed you a lot of shit in the beginning that you really had to pay attention, because this stuff is happening, you know, in the world. And Marvel has touched on this stuff before. So, deceptively, a lot of these movies are very, very simple. They're, you know, they go by the Marvel formula and stuff. But much like with Civil War, there's some real life stuff that was going on in here, you know. So to show her and her little family, which was, you know, kind of like a fake family, it was really some spies that were grooming these children to be assassins, you know. And they used this place called the Red Room, I believe they referred to it as, where there's a bunch of other Black Widows. And these people, I believe, they were either kidnapped or taken or sold, you know, into servitude for these spy programs. And this is something, like I said before, look it up. This is not just fiction. You know, this is why I have to give them respect for that, because in a comic book movie, you know, to be seeing something so heavy that goes under the radar with so many people, you can't help but be like, okay, I see you, Marvel. I see what you're doing, you know. And to be practically naming names by showing the images that they showed in the very beginning, that really, really got me, you know. So when you see the family and they're grooming these children, they're grooming, you know, Natasha and her sister Yelena. You know, that was deep, man. You know, and the guy who's posing to be the father, the Red Guardian, you know, that was also, you know, the I guess the Russian equivalent of Captain America. Very, very symbolic. You know, there's a lot of symbolism in this movie. So it's more than just the plot. It's more than just gender swapping. You know, it's more than just, you know, all of these things that we usually, you know, it raises our antenna. So I found it interesting watching this. Now, I didn't expect this to be some explosive Marvel movie. After all, it's Black Widow. You're not going to see some Hulk, some Captain America, Thor type shit going on in a Black Widow movie. You're going to expect something more along the lines of a spy thriller, you know, and that's kind of what we got. Now, it was kind of sloppy, you know, in certain places, like when they're breaking Red Guardian out of jail. That whole sequence while it was exciting, and like I said, Scarlett Johansson does a bang up job. I just love Scarlett Johansson, and even though they try to tone down the sex stuff, man, it just comes off of her. You know what I mean? So no matter what you do, she's beautiful, she's hot. It just is what it is. There are a couple of camera, angles, shot of her ass and stuff, and I appreciated that. You know what I mean? And her sister also. Her sister is equally, as hot. Well, maybe not as equally, but she could get it too. Okay, so like I said, it moved along. And I'm notorious for falling asleep, especially when I've been working the day before. But I was able to stick with it. I saw what was going on. There were a lot of head nods to what happened in the past and stuff with her. So it was good, man, and it was also very, very tragic because by the time we catch up with Black Widow, Natasha, she's very, very she's battle weary. She's guilty. In particular about what happened with the bad guy Dreykov, whatever his name is. She's very guilty about what happened with his daughter. Because she's in the spy business, which is a dirty business. She's playing the role of an assassin. So the daughter gets caught up in that, and that's a pretty solid intro or origin of the film's version of Taskmaster. Now, I understand this is not what's going on in the comics, so I reserve the right to appreciate the fact that I was entertained by the movie, but I also appreciate the criticisms against the movie. Like I understand if they went against the lore, if they went against the story, I get it. You know what I mean? And even if it wasn't the best movie in the world, for a lot of people, I would never take that away from anybody. So I do understand that. But I will say this as a fact of the matter. There was clapping, at the end of this movie. It wasn't like it was thunderous applause or anything like that, but clearly the audience that I was in, they did appreciate it. And they did a good job. There's definitely a after credit scene there, and like I said, we're dealing with spoilers here. They're basically showing Natasha's sister Yelena like standing at her gravesite, and the Elaine from Seinfeld, Julia Marie Dreyfus, yeah, I don't know. She comes up, and you've seen her in other things, the Marvel, the MCU before, and she basically tells Natasha's sister that it was Hawkeye's fault that she's dead. Like she's putting out a hit on Hawkeye. But see, here's the thing. I'm like, I think Natasha spent most of the movie telling her makeshift family that the Avengers was her real family. So why would anybody, especially someone who's supposed to be smart, a trained assassin, why would they even take that type of bait? You must know that she had love for the Avengers. She had love for Hawkeye. So why would you go after him? But okay, for the sake of the story, I guess that's what we're gonna see coming up. That was their version of a teaser. But the bottom line is, it wasn't a classic. I don't know if it's gonna be anybody's favorite MCU film. But everyone's got their opinion. I'm sure some people it is. As far as the virtue signaling and the SJW stuff, it depends on what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like, this is the story of Black Widow. This is the story of the Black Widows. A bunch of girls who were kidnapped or sold into this, and it's going to have that feel. It's actually, the story lends weight to this. It's not like they had to reach out of out of the realm of reasonableness to come up with this. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. There are, unfortunately, girls who are sold into this kind of thing, like I said before, in the real world. So the sexism of it all is actually true. Okay? So there are going to be times when you're going to talk about this, just like with racism, just like with homophobia. It's just a matter of how badly you exploit that. Did I find this to be an exploitation of those issues? No, I did not. So I did, I was entertained by this. So unfortunately, like I said before, Scarlett Johansson was done dirty. The character of Black Widow was done dirty by the mere fact that this can only be so compelling because what has happened to the character. You know what I mean? And if they don't revisit the character or they don't find some way to resurrect it, then what was the point of this whole thing? Other than the fact that, you can get some entertainment out of it, which is what I got, you know. And the way the movie business is these days, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know what I mean? I wasn't there pissed off or anything like that. I was pretty cool with it. You know, the characters were engaging enough. You know, the action was good enough. You know, the story was good enough. You know, so that's basically what it is. Now, you guys know that I have my rating system, which it consists of 4 flushes. You know, and the concept is, how many times do you have to flush the toilet to get rid of the shit that's in the toilet? You know what I mean? Now, if I told you there were no flushes, I give it this movie 0 flushes. That's a good thing. That means there's no shit involved. It was good. You know, it was cool. The more flushes I give it, the more full of shit it is. All right. So I will give Black Widow, I'll give it 2 flushes out of 4. All right. That's pretty much average. You know, it's not terrible. It's not great. 2 flushes. I have to give it 2 flushes because number one, it came out way, 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 way too late. You know, and they wasted the opportunity. And number 2, no pun intended, because I mean, it just wasn't the best movie. And to be honest, there were some lulls, you know, in certain places where it seemed like it was, you know, getting back on its feet or whatever the case may be. So yeah, 2 flushes is what I'm gonna give this one, guys. But have you seen this movie? The question is. And you can get in the comment section, let me know how you feel about this. Like I said, I am already aware of the blowback that this movie is getting, so please don't feel the need to bomb out the comment section talking about how much the movie sucked. And you know, but it's your opinion, you know, so you can do that. I'm just saying, don't be a parrot, you know. If you want to tell me the movie sucked, tell me why you think the movie sucked, and I can appreciate and respect that. Alright guys, so I'm looking forward to seeing your opinion. Thank you guys for watching. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, you can catch me on Twitter. If not, I will see you on the next one. Thank you guys for listening. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.